Hello, everybody. Corrections 101 here. Boy, do we have some updates this evening. Try to make this as quick as possible, but we got a lot of ground to cover here. So let's just start off. So on Friday, I get this email, and let me hear. I'll show it to you in full disclosure here. Let me give you the preset for it here, actually. So Friday about 1 o'clock in the afternoon, I get an email from uh, the assistant deputy administrator of the um, Nebraska Judicial Branch, which is probation in Nebraska. So in Nebraska, the probation department falls under the Nebraska Supreme Court and the Nebraska Judicial Branch. So I get an email from them, and let's go ahead and let's show it here. Let's show it. All right. Here's this email from JC Rader. It says, Dear, and then my name. We recently received a report from a member of the public that a Nebraska probation officer was gauging in concerning online behavior. Okay, concerning online behavior. Okay, okay. During our investigation into this matter, we learned that your Facebook profile currently indicates that you work for the Nebraska probation system, specifically as a Nebraska probation officer. Because our records reflect you are not currently employed with the Nebraska Judicial Branch, we request you remove any reference to employment, affiliation, or representation of the Nebraska Judicial Branch or Nebraska Probation from your Facebook profile and any other public platforms promptly. If the information is not removed, we may take additional steps to address the matter, including notifying Facebook and pursuing other appropriate remedies. So, folks, okay, let me get rid of this here. So, yes, I am not currently a probation officer with the state of Nebraska. That was a year and a half ago I left there. The only social media network that I hadn't updated my employment on was on Facebook. I'm hardly on it Facebook anymore. But I put an end date on it, so it shows that I previously worked there. Fine, it's fixed, not a problem. If they want me to have that changed, that's fine. But you notice one thing that they didn't put in that email is that after the investigation, they could find no concerning online behavior or online information. And here's the thing, guys. I don't know who it was, but it had to be something because the only thing about that video that I posted on Facebook, well, that's on YouTube and that I posted on my Facebook, is was the Mark Young video that I did where I literally just read the news article and broke it down for my expertise, you could say. So, we went over this last time, over the last decade, I've spent most of my time as a juvenile correction officer, a juvenile probation officer, a juvenile court officer, and so and I also used to work at this detention center, so I'm kind of the perfect person to be able to break this Mark Young case down and to kind of review my thoughts on the South Iowa Area Detention Service Agency. And before we go any further, for people joining in, let's go over the two acronyms that we're going to use because saying South Iowa Area Detention Service Agency is a mouthful. So from here on out, for the rest of the video, I'm just going to pretty much just say SIADSA. So SIADSA is the Juvenile Detention Center, South Iowa Area Detention Service Agency. Excuse me. If I say SIACC, that is South Iowa Area Crime Commission. SIACC oversees SIADSA. So you have SIACC, South Iowa Area Crime Commission, that oversees South Iowa Area Detention Service Agency, SIADSA. So those are the two acronyms I'm going to use. It's a lot. And make sure also that you tune in to the end of the video too, because I had AI. I uploaded the news story up into AI, and AI made a banger song about Mark Young and SIADSA. It's absolutely hilarious. The only bad thing about SIADSA is her name is so dadgum long, is that, in the song, it keeps referring to SIADSA as South Iowa because her name is way too long to be able to fit the whole thing in there. It's hilarious. It's a banger. You got to stay in. I'll play it at the very end. So, anyways, getting back to this email that I received. So someone had contacted thinking that I still worked for Nebraska Probation. and over this video that I did. There was nothing derogatory in it. There was no swearing. There was nothing crazy in there at all. There was no concerning online behavior, as they put it. But this person that made this complaint to them had said, this video was basically concerning online behavior. They could find nothing in there that broke any violation. To even if I was currently employed there, there was nothing in there that would be any kind of violation, anyways, to online media posts or anything like that. So this person, whoever it was, and I don't know who it was, but it could only be one of three places, in my opinion, and I have no idea who it is yet. And I'm going to get to that because we are going to get the name and the identifying information. I put in the public records request. So we are going to get the email address, the name, IP number, whatever mode that they use to make this complaint. We're going to get all that information because it is not protected information for them to hold. They have to give that information to me because it is a bad faith complaint, because this person made a bogus complaint to um, Nebraska Probation, thinking that I still work there. And the only reason that they did that is to try to screw with my career. They wanted me fired. Um, Luckily to them, I mean, this idiot, whoever it was, they weren't smart enough to know that I even said in my last video, I am no longer a probation officer. They are a former employer of mine that I was a probation officer at. So anyway, they called there, and how gutless is that? You don't like that I read a news story on YouTube, and so you try to screw with my career? I mean, that is the most gutless. I have some stronger words for it, but just in case my dad or somebody's watching, just like swearing, I'm really trying to improve on my mouth. It's so gutless. It's so gutless to do that. You're going to make a complaint like that. Now, in my opinion, it came from one of three sources. This complaint either was Mark Young or one of his cohorts in his campaign or in his camp. Two, it could be someone from SIADSA, because SIADSA does not want me talking about the story. They do not want me talking about the story at all, being critical of them. It's basically shut up, don't talk about it. We reported him, so nothing to see here. Ignore everything he did over the previous 5 months that led up, that was completely foreseeable for him sexually assaulting that young girl, or somebody from SIACC overseeing the juvenile detention center. I think it's from one of those three sources. We're going to find out this week who exactly it was. Full disclosure, I did reach out to Mark Young, and I just flat out asked him over Messenger. I said, "Hey, this is what happened. I got this email. Was it you or someone that you know that did it?" Now, he can't speak for everybody he knows because he may not know, but he denied it. Said that he didn't know I even used to work there, and he denied that he wrote it. Now, do I believe him? Not necessarily. We'll find out. We'll find out if he's telling the truth or not. But we will know the identification of that person later. And if it is SIAC or SIADSA, and I'm not saying it is, but if it is SIAC or SIADSA, there will be a massive civil lawsuit coming your way. If to shut me up from talking about the story and just reading a news article about the story, if you tried screwing with my career and contacting who you thought was my employer to get me terminated, there will be a massive civil lawsuit coming your way. Just saying. I've already contacted a civil attorney that's licensed in both Nebraska and Iowa, which is important because there might be some more information that we have to get from probation for court. But anyways, that's jumping again because we don't know who it is yet. I make that crystal clear. I'm not accusing anybody of anything yet. As I was saying, my gut feeling is it came from one of those three sources: Mark Young or somebody in his camp, um, SIADSA or SIAC. Don't know who it is. Um, could could it came from somewhere completely different? Possibly. I don't know why. I don't know who would make a complaint like that, trying to get me terminated from my job because of that video where I just read a news story. So that's the update on that. And Nebraska probation better behave because I they under their law, I looked it up, under their under their Open Records Act, they this doesn't fall under any protected information as far as finding out the identity of anybody. Now, if it was a valid complaint, maybe they could hold that information, but it's not. It was a bad faith complaint. You can't hide behind privacy, make a false complaint trying to get someone terminated from a job that you think that they work, which I didn't even work there. But you can't make a false accusation like that in bad faith and then hide behind privacy. You can't do it. So the state of Nebraska has to turn that over, and they will. You can do it the easy way or the hard way, but it's going to come out. Um, so that's that. One thing I wanted to go over too here real quick is I wanted to go over, remember last time we did a video, Iowa court system went down. It was late at night. Going to show you here the next court date for Mark, right now is scheduled, as you can see over here. I don't know if you see my cursor here. May 12th at 9 a.m. is a pretrial conference. We have put in, um, with the Iowa courts, have put in a request for media access for all his future hearings, with the, I believe it's called the Iowa Court Regional Coordinator, if I remember is their title. But anyways, we emailed them and they've emailed back and they're getting everything set up to petition the court to allow video cameras in for any future hearings that he has so that we can record them and report on them, since the local media has absolutely no interest in this massive, massive story. So that's in the works. I'm trying to think of anything else here, before we move on to some other things. Um, we got that, yeah, we got the media stuff done. I'm sure it'll come to me here in a second. Let me pull up one other thing here real quick, that I think it's really important. Just a second here, guys. You got to remember, it's been a minute since I have done this. Um, just a second here. I'm pulling up a, here we go. Just a second here. Wish I had some good music. Oh, that's coming here in a second. And here it is. Okay, here it is. So the thing is, let me move this over here. Okay, so here's a, and this is why SIADSA is angry. This is why they're upset. This is why they may be throwing a hissy fit. We'll find out. Like I said, I don't know if it's them who made this complaint or not, but this is why you can't let SIADSA off of the hook here, guys. Because here, as you can see here in May, according to, if everything, again, let me say it again, if everything is accurate as it was reported in the media, which I have no reason to believe that it's not, they made some very specific accusations, and they said it was based off of court records. And so I have no reason. Oh, the court records. That's the other thing I was thinking of is, I have put in for the court records to get the full case file for everything that's been filed already, and I'm hoping to have that sometime this week. I'm waiting for them. They're supposed to get back to me tomorrow, since it doesn't involve a juvenile victim. They might have to do some redactions, but I'm not sure how that's all going to work yet. And so they're supposed to get back to me tomorrow and let me know how I can get those documents, and I can scan them all in and be able to show you all, the arrest warrant affidavit, and everything else, and any other filings that's been done in the case so far. Also, I'm really interested to know, his bond conditions. That'll be really interesting to go to over, so we can keep that in mind for everybody, because I've had a lot of questions about that. What are his bond conditions? Is he allowed to be around juveniles, anything like that, especially with, and one thing I do want to correct is in the last video, I said that he was at the Southeastern Community College Keokuk campus. It was actually the Burlington campus. I was wrong on that. I actually made an assumption on that because the two people that I had heard from, that their kids had seen him on campus because he's taken courses in automotive as for to be an automotive technician. I assumed it was at the Keokuk campus because their kids are from here, going to SEC, but it was actually at the Burlington campus. So we'll see. But here, I made some slides here, and I kind of made them court styled. It's kind of the style that I would made, when I was a probation officer, going over things, while on the stand and making files to share with the judge. So here is the prior reprimand for May. So in May of this last year, he had a written reprimand. He was found to had inappropriate discussions with female juveniles. He was ordered to avoid contact, complete contact, to avoid any contact with female detainees, and required to activate body camera at all times. Now in May, he should have been terminated. If he was so sketchy and having these inappropriate discussions with females, and if remember, we went over all the details last video. He was talking about a sex life and stuff. And I guarantee you, and this would be a great question to ask the sheriff's department if I get the opportunity to. I wonder if they were able to reach out to the female juveniles that he was doing this stuff with in May, because I can almost guarantee you, I'd almost bet the house on it that he probably did some really inappropriate stuff with these females, and I hope these females were able to get interviewed as well. Because I just don't think this was a one-off deal in October. So all that stuff happened in May. He should have been terminated. He should have never been there. It was completely foreseeable based off of the stuff that happened in May, completely foreseeable that he could absolutely sexually assault a juvenile in custody. He is grooming these females at this point in May. For SIADSA to say, well, we turned it over for an investigation, and he's arrested, so we are absolved of any wrongdoing here. It's ridiculous. And as a matter of fact, if I was a probation officer here in Southeast Iowa or a judge, I wouldn't send another damn kid to that juvenile detention facility until I had absolute answers on what the hell is going on at that detention center with the administration that is currently there. And they better have some good answers or have an entirely different administration, um, because it's absolutely unacceptable. You cannot send juveniles to that detention center if nothing has changed, if everything is a status quo. I mean, if their judgment is that bad to keep Mark Young on after May, after he did all this stuff inappropriately with juveniles, then it shows the judgment out there. It's absolutely awful. So let's go to the next slide here. Um, if I can get there. So October 25th and 26th events. Now you got to remember, this is after May. So June, July, August, September, October. This is 5 months after all that stuff that he did in May. Okay. He should have never still been there. He should have been gone. He was telling the juvenile, trying to arrange the bond, the 16-year-old girl out. He requested the victim to expose herself, which she did several times upon his demands. He had the physical contact. And let me take a look at this next slide. I forgot. Let's see here. Yeah. Okay. Almost there, guys. And this is October 25th and 26th. He had the alleged physical contact with her, and I believe this is when he was touching her breasts and everything. And then he allegedly used his cell phone to take pictures or to take videos of her nude, or at least showing off private parts that shouldn't be shown. So this is 5 months after he should have been gone in May. Okay, here we go to October 26th. The timeline, the cell phone is visible during room checks on the security system. The arms are entering the cell multiple times, which should never happen. Um, we'll get more into details on that here in a little bit. Frequent prolonged contact at the doorway after he was told he wasn't supposed to be around the females at all, but evidently it's still going on. And obviously the staff knew it was going on even in October because someone would have yanked his rear end out of there. Th- this is so unbelievable. October 28th to the 29th, he displayed large sums of cash, promised the bond release again, mentioned meeting at a casino after release. Um, and then the alleged kissing and digital penetration of of the 16-year-old through the cell opening. Now those when I worked there, they didn't have chuck holes in the doors, and so unless they have new doors with chuck holes in them now, it would have been, a cracked door that he was reaching in there to do, which should have never happened anyways, because he used a word not to be around any female juveniles, but didn't matter. He still did. Additional allegations. He requested her to explicit written letter from the juvenile 16-year-old. He provided contraband, food, drinks, snacks, energy drinks, if you remember. And I know this says it discussed vape pens, but if I remember correctly in the article, that he actually provided vape pens for her to hit as well. Also, the alleged contact during the shower area interaction. And let's not forget that he had contact with the victim's mother. He texted offering bail assistance, claimed possession of bail money. The mother declined the offer, and the screenshots from the mother uh, from Mark were provided to the sheriff's department. So they've got those. That's a problem. And then October 29th, the investigation begins, and he wasn't arrested until December. Let's see here. The warrant was issued December 18th, and the arrest was December 19th. So Science has got some splaining to do, and they don't want us talking about this. We're not supposed to be asking questions. We're not supposed to be saying, hey, why in May, when he was doing all this inappropriate stuff with females, instead of ordering him not to be around any female juveniles and being so sketchy that he has to have his body camera on, what do we do? What are we doing? A second here. I just had a pop up on me. So, anyway, that's pretty much all I wanted to cover today. I just wanted to give you an update on that email. And this is a good learning lesson for people because I've been doxxed several times. I've had this YouTube channel for years and used to be kind of rambunctious space, covering some pretty bad people. I've been doxxed. My previous employer has been contacted and stuff. That's why on social media I never have my current employer. They're not going to ever figure out who my current employer is. But it can be jarring. I'm kind of used to it now, unfortunately. But this is just a lesson to people out there: be bold, be brave, do what you think is right, and even when it gets hard, don't back down. And we're not going to back down. This has only got me more pissed off and more resolved, and we're going to keep continuing this. And I can't wait till we get to figure out who the identity of the person is who contacted Nebraska Probation thinking that's where I currently worked, and try to get me fired if I still work there, which I don't. But I look forward to thoroughly playing with my food at that point, with that person once that identity is known. So that's about it, guys. Um, Last thing we'll do, and we'll get out of here for this evening. Try to keep it under 30 minutes here. Like I said, I took the article The newspaper article that we talked about last video, uploaded into AI and came up with a banger song. And so let's finish out on that, and then we'll get out of here for this video, guys. Hope you enjoy this video. Make sure you like it, like, share, subscribe this video, get it out there to as many people, especially local to the Keokuk, Burlington, Quincy area. Get as many eyes on this. We need everybody talking about it. We need tough questions asked. Not only of Mark Young, but also of SIADSA and SIACC. That's a huge, huge problem. And why, you know, more questions aren't being asked by the local media. I don't get it. It's a huge story, um, especially with the shortcomings with SIADSA. Not terminating his ass when he should have. But yeah, let's listen to this song. It'll make you happy. Let's go. Ignored, pushed. Start at the beginning there, guys. Pushed under the paper pile of predator. Unleashed, they knew his name. They knew the way he leaned closer, far too close, violating every secret charge. And that's right, guys. No more secrets, no more silence. Didn't play the whole thing. I don't know. I'm getting back in the swing of this stuff. There's gonna be technical errors. Welcome to the crap show. We'll get it down better. But maybe next video I'll lead in with it and we'll play the whole thing. But it's an absolute banger. AI, love it sometimes. But anyways, guys, take care of each other, take care of yourselves. Let's not let this story go away. The victim deserves justice. The victim deserves answers. The victim deserves us to care enough about her to where we ask the tough questions. We make sure change happens. Not only to make sure Mark Young, if he did what is alleged to have been done, he deserves to pay a price for that. And SIADSA should be able to have to pay a price and make the right changes. And let me tell you right now, this is the last thing. This is nothing personal with SIADSA and SIACC. I'm concerned about juveniles. I don't want 16. It's not controversial to say I don't want 16-year-old girls sexually assaulted in juvenile detention centers and to be gaslit by whoever this was that tried turning me into who they thought was my employer to try to get me terminated for even discussing this news story is absolutely insane. I'm sorry. I just don't want 16-year-old juveniles to get sexually assaulted in juvenile detention centers. Is that too much to freaking ask? No. And stop the gaslighting, people. Stay bold, stay brave. Stick up for what you believe in. This cancer culture crap is nonsense. It shouldn't be controversial to stick up for 16-year-old sexual abuse victims, at SIADSA at the hands of Mark Young when he should have never still been there in October. Give me a break. See you guys in the next video. Love you guys. Take care of yourselves.